Hey, what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. Really excited about an opportunity to continue our coverage in the Bryan Kohberger case. Obviously, a lot has happened. It sort of started all breaking Thursday evening, and then um, while kind of like right before and while we were streaming, and then Friday rolled around. It was our Faith Friday coverage, so we barely got to cover a lot of the details that were coming, new details that were coming out. And so we're going to spend some time today covering that. But first, we have a video. We did a partnership with a company called Rose Forever. This is a cool company. They wanted to help get Lily, which is my niece that I take care of a lot, a gift for just how amazing she's been doing. Perfect attendance, perfect grades. Started a new sport this year. And so they sent us some flowers and just amazing. Anybody today that's interested in those flowers, you can get $20 off your first order. There's a link pinned to it in the chat, but I want to show you the video of her opening her flowers. Proud of Lily lately. She started a new sport. She's got perfect grades, perfect attendance. And so we partnered with a company called Rose Forever, and she was able to pick out like a specialty bouquet of roses. I'm going to give it to her later today, and she's going to unbox it. I hope she's going to really like it. Lily, I got you a present.
Rose Forever.
Rose Forever.
New York.
They're from New York, is that what it said?
This is New York.
For all your hard work, school and sports.
Is it upside down?
I don't know. Yeah, that looks like you gotta turn it the other way.
It feels good.
It feels good. What does it feel like?
Like velvety.
Velvet?
Mm-hmm. The
Oh.
logo's cute.
Let me see. Oh, Rose Forever, New York. All right.
Oh my. I want to take it out. They're so pretty.
Oh, give it a smell.
Oh, those smell good. Those smell really good.
So what do you think?
They're so pretty.
Yeah, you can't even stop looking at them.
I didn't know what kind of color of purple it was going to be, but these are like the perfect color purple.
So do you like it?
Yes.
You love it, actually? What are you gonna do with it?
I don't know. I'll probably put it in my bedroom. They're like, it looks like they're connected.
A huge thank you to Rose Forever for partnering with us today to get Lily that amazing bouquet of 100% fresh preserved roses that last an entire year. Their opulent Parisian-inspired keepsake hat box that it comes in is exceptional attention to detail as well. I'm going to encourage you to give your loved ones a gift they'll never forget, including Mother's Day just around the corner. Make lasting memories with Rose Forever Exquisite Bouquet. If you click the link that's pinned in the chat, you use code Tyler20, you can save $20 today. Levi, what do you think?
They smell like lavender.
All right. Bada bing, bada boop. The link's pinned in the chat if anybody's interested. Okay, so lots of information to talk about in the Bryan Kohberger case as you guys have been following along. I'm looking forward to having the conversation with you. I'm certain that many of you guys have your own opinions about what's been going on, and so I'm interested in hearing what some of those opinions are along the way. If so, feel free to share those. But there is certainly a lot of information to talk about, and it begins with talking about this storage locker. And so it's funny, somebody Earlier in the chat, Amy deleted it, but somebody wrote in the chat that I was a Bible thumper because I said it was a secret storage locker. I'm like literally just quoting the Daily Mail for one thing, and then the second thing, I didn't mention the Bible at all. So I have literally no idea what that person was trying to say. But police searched a secret storage locker belonging to suspected Idaho quadruple killer Bryan Kohberger, which they believe he accessed after the murders, and they found traces of blood in his apartment. Certainly, lots of little details that we need to be talking about today. And I want to have that conversation with you. Documents show that police swabbed dozens of areas in his university apartment. They did 2 positive tests for traces of blood. I was able to have a phone conversation with Jennifer Coffendorfer yesterday. She was traveling. I recorded the phone conversation, obviously, with her permission, and posted her thoughts on how to make sense out of all of this. Doctora Latina commented on the video as well, talking about the ability to figure out if maybe somebody has autism or not, which is, interesting. Sleuthy Goosey, what up, Sleuthy Goosey? We'd love for you to come on the show if you want. Documents show the police swabbed dozens of areas in his university apartment, had 2 positive tests for blood. It's unclear if the blood belonged to any of the victims or Kohberger himself, but the items were taken for further investigation. And Sleuthy tweeted about this. I said it on the stream before I even saw her tweet, but I didn't understand how come there were so many items they collected that they didn't send to lab. Especially there were many items that they had collected that they didn't send to lab that had what they thought might be blood. And so I still don't understand the rationale behind that. Somebody's going to have to explain it to me. Uh, they also found a lock and key which matched storage container and requested a search warrant to access that container. So, interesting piece of information. Several videos I want to just hop through and run down through. And by the way, guys, I want to just take a second and let you know we are totally crowdfunded on this channel, which means we can't do what we do unless amazing people like you come alongside and support us. You can support today through PayPal, which is Tyler Feller, Cash App, $ Tyler Feller 22, or Venmo, which is at Tyler-Feller. You can also support through Super Sticker or Super Chat, and appreciate it. Appreciate it. If you guys like what we're doing, keep the channel steam rolling. We got to have your support. So thank you for those of you guys that are so many of you that are faithful supporters. If today you send a super chat your very first time, we want to celebrate with you for doing that. So let us know if it's your first ever super chat. New court document. Let's go through this article in the Daily Mail. New court documents have revealed that the police searching Bryan Kohberger's apartment discovered a secret storage locker they believed he used after the time of the murders in Idaho. Guys, one thing, as I'm just reading that, it said the new court documents. We did on Thursday. I read like the almost the entire document out loud. Like it was at points painstaking, but we did it. And one of the things that we picked up on from reading the document was that there was an additional bedroom in that apartment, but it was very clear in that document that that additional bedroom belonged to what should have been a roommate from college, but because he didn't have a roommate from college, the door was locked, the room had been vacuumed, and it was clean. And so then Ashley Banfield runs a story. It's something I have a hard time kind of wrapping my mind around. Ashley Banfield runs a story saying that police are trying to break into Bryan Kohberger's bedroom because it's locked. And the confusion is, and we'll play the video here in just a little bit. The confusion is because that there was a body cam footage of the police breaking into the apartment or whatever, and you hear them say his bedroom's locked. But if they would have read the document, the initial conversation about the bedroom being locked was just a misinterpretation of which was actually Bryan Kohberger's bedroom and which was a bedroom that could have or should have belonged to a roommate that didn't exist. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but I thought, my gosh, that was really interesting. Hot One says, I got to unsub from this channel. All he does is pass the collection plate Around nonstop, begging for stickers, buying flowers. Typical preacher. Well, I haven't ever seen you put a dollar in Hot One Records, so be honest about that. And your comment, really not appreciated and not well received, but I hope you have a blessed day. It's certainly not going to be on this channel. Washington State University police swarmed his apartment in Pullman, a 15-minute drive from the property where the murders were committed shortly after his arrest at his family home in Pennsylvania on December 30th. Criminal justice major Bryan Kohberger is accused of killing Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogens, and Colonel Ethan Chapin. Documents show that police swabbed dozens of areas in the small property and had at least 2 test positive for traces of blood. Officers also found a lock and key, which he matched a storage container and requested a search warrant. You guys think Bryan Kohberger is guilty? Put a 1 in the chat. Do you think Bryan Kohberger is innocent? Put a 2 in the chat. Let me know. Most of you guys think he's guilty. Most y'all thinking he's guilty. There's Amy Heights. First super sticker of the day. Thank you so much, Amy Heights. I appreciate that. Yeah, Edie Ruth says, as soon as the Lori Vallow trial is adjudicated, I'm going to concentrate more on Kohberger. Yeah, I know that there's a lot going on right now. The Lori Vallow case. There's some other cases that have been popping up. So, Candy, was that the 3 dozen? I think so. I think it was 35, actually, that they sent for her. Yellow. Okay. Most of you guys think he's guilty. It's not clear if anything was found in the locker, but officers state that they believe Kohberger used it to store items after the murders of the 4 University of Idaho students. One of the items which tested positive for blood was a pillow. I think a pillow would be just a spot in a lot of people's houses that they might be able to find a blood stain. The other was a mattress cover, which was on his bed, which had multiple stains on it. It was also taken for further testing. It's unclear if the blood belonged to any of the victims or Kohberger herself, and the items were simply collected by officers for further investigation. A previous affidavit confirmed that the 2 items had stains on them consistent with blood, but the new documents show that they tested positive for it. Police also seized several hair strands, including one suspected animal hair, a black glove, and a computer tower. Investigators who raided the property back in December also picked up receipts from Walmart and 2 Marshall receipts, as well as collecting the contents of the vacuum cleaner. Court documents show that 8 strands of hair were recovered from the apartment, including a possible animal hair. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely think they need to be testing some of this stuff. Hey, Tasha Finley, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. Appreciate that super sticker. Second super sticker of the day. Coming in hot. Appreciate it. Mattress cover tested positive. Right there, you guys can see it. Down here, stain on the uncased pillow. Tested positive. By the way, guys, one of the things that we do on this channel, we do it about once per hour just as a way for us to invite people to support and make it fun. We do a thing called the Super Sticker Train. We'd love to have you hop aboard on the Super Sticker Train with us this hour. It'd be amazing if we can get 17 of you guys to hop aboard and help us out starting now. And if we did that, that'd be an amazing blessing. Dylan, Xana, Bethany, Kaylee, Madison. Hey, Candy Forge, you're first to hop aboard our Super Sticker Train. You said thank you for all your hard work covering this case. Really appreciate that. Joanne, thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate that. Kami, thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. Tranquil says, Sartel, you don't deserve those rude comments from Hot One Records. Yeah, totally out of line, off base, not true. That's what happens a lot of time in the comment section. Thank you for your support. Okay, this is the police body cam of the apartment search. Obviously, most of it is redacted or blocked out. So
Yeah. Police department search warrant.
don't they know he's not there? That's why I don't know why they're banging. Like, I 100% am having a hard time. I understand why they're banging. Not, I guess it's protocols. My only guess. Some of you would probably know better than I do. I'm just assuming it's protocol. That's why they're doing it that way. But I was like thinking they know he's not there. They're 100% sure he's not there. So they're banging on the door, screaming, "Hey, Miss Daisy Rainbow, woo! That's the biggest super sticker of the day. Wow. Wow, wow, wooza, Miss Daisy Rainbow. Really appreciate that. Thank you for our support. And you're the fourth person to hop aboard the super sticker train. So you're the biggest, the baddest, and the fourth. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Come to the door. Police department, search warrant. Come to the door. Good. One more.
It's like they know. They're like, "Hey, are we good?" They're like, "No, one more time." It sounds like they're just following some sort of protocol.
Police department, search warrant. Come to the door. Open the door and do an announcement. Police department, show yourself. We have a search warrant for the building. Police department, show yourself. You're good, dude. Go back inside. Yep. No lights. Flashlights? Flashlights.
All right, so here's what's fascinating. They go in with all of their body cams, and when they sent us the video after a Freedom of Information request, guess what? I know you already know what I'm about to say. They actually redacted it. They turned most of that searching inside the apartment, all of it, in fact, into black video with no audio at all. So we cannot see inside the apartment. But remember this video? This was exclusive for News Nation. We were standing outside the apartment as they were hauling all the goods out. All of the evidence that they removed from Bryan Kohberger's apartment, this was what it looked like right after they had executed that warrant. There is one thing, though, that they did not redact that I want to play for you right now, and it is so telling. It is a detail that, once again, sent shivers down my spine.
This is the thing I was telling you that she said that doesn't make any sense because they say his bedroom's locked. We know his bedroom wasn't locked. We read the document. One of the bedrooms in the house was locked because it's a campus housing and he's supposed to have a roommate, but he was never assigned one, so they locked the door. So it's not telling Ashley Banfield. It's not telling. Listen to her say that. I wonder if she's going to come on and correct what she's saying.
That warrant. There is one thing, though, that they did not redact that I want to play for you right now, and it is so telling. It is a detail that, once again, sent shivers down my spine. They talk about when they were in the apartment, one of the doors inside the apartment is locked. Can you guess which one? Let's roll the tape so you can hear it for yourself.
Talbot, bedroom door is locked. He wants to boot it.
Yeah. You need anything in your clipboard?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
He's got it. Thank you, guys.
Just the one locked door?
Yeah. And we didn't boot it because the keys actually worked. What?
Oh, sweet. Oh, even better.
It's locked because there's only one on
Later
here.
today, we're gonna.
I'll talk later. Yeah.
I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough, see what we can see. Are there lights on in there?
There are some. Yeah. And we can turn them all on. Very sparse. Fancy computer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, fuck.
Did she say fancy computer?
See, are there lights on in there?
There are some. Yeah. And we can turn them all on. Very sparse. Fancy computer.
Sound like she said fancy computer. If you think she said fancy computer, type fancy in the comment section. If you think she said something else, just type what you thought she said in the comment section. I want to know what you guys are thinking. I thought she said fancy computer. So it didn't seem inaudible to me, whoever's making the fancy computer. I wonder what a fancy computer is. A fancy computer.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. That I wasn't expecting. Mallory's gonna be all over that.
Fancy.
So he was told he could do a triage here. And then once he packed it, he can't do anything until we get a warrant tonight before.
Correct.
So he can triage it while we're still here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Talking about the bedroom door. Bryan Kohberger's bedroom door was locked. Bryan Kohberger wasn't there. Why would his bedroom door be locked? It just kind of defies logic, doesn't it? I'm going to talk to Bryan Enton about that in a moment, but I wanted to tell you some court documents also dropped today. 166 pages. Apparently the testing.
And if she would have read the 166 pages, then she would have undoubtedly found out with certainty. She would have undoubtedly found out with certainty that that bedroom was locked because it was an empty room for a potential roommate.
For blood on the pillowcases and the mattress, presumptive test for blood. That's what the chemical tests said. Chemical testing for blood, not just reddish brown stains or on the uncased pillow and mattress cover, presumptive testing for blood. Also, they released new floor plans of Bryan Kohberger's apartment number 201. And the big news, they also released a trespass order. Washington State University effectively said on the 30th, the day of the arrests, the day of this warrant, Bryan Kohberger, you may never step foot on this campus again. It is officially going to be trespass. I want to get right to Bryan Enton, who's been covering this story since the beginning. First of all, I want to get your thoughts on all of this, but also the fact that we're hearing Bryan Kohberger's voice, Bryan, for such an extended period of time in what seems to be like a polite debate.
Yeah, it's like, where do we even begin with all of this? There's so much to talk about, Ashley. 166 pages, documents released just within the last couple of hours in that video that you obtained. The voice I found probably to be the most interesting in all of it. I had only heard him say a couple of, words in court in the past. I hadn't heard him really complete full sentences before. I've heard a lot of people say that they think that he sounds condescending. Is he condescending? Is he monotone? Is he just an awkward? We've heard he's socially awkward in the past, but it was very interesting the way he went back and forth with the officer. She really kept her cool. And like you said, even went back and looked up the law and gave him all the information he was asking for. But I couldn't figure out, and maybe you have some insight into this, Ashley, like, was he being condescending or is this just his awkward personality and he actually wanted to know the details of the law? It was very, very strange.
Well, I can tell you this. I spoke with Steve Gonsalves tonight, and I asked him what he made of this interaction with the police officer. And Steve Gonsalves' exact words were he was respectful, but also quite awkward. Just exactly what.
She did what now? Is Steve Gonsalves not having pending litigation on the 25th of the month about the gag order or the non-dissemination order, and she's talking to him and then quoting him on the news? Am I losing cells in my brain or what? I don't know. I think maybe I am.
Was he being condescending or is this just his awkward personality and he actually wanted to know the details of the law? It was very, very strange.
Well, I can tell you this. I spoke with Steve Gonsalves tonight, and I asked him what he made of this interaction with the police officer. And Steve Gonsalves' exact words were he was respectful, but also quite awkward. Just exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
I also want to tell you what he said about the warrant and the locked bedroom door. These are Steve Gonsalves' words, Bryan. He said, quote, "My thought is, why would you need to lock a door to your own room in an apartment that isn't shared, unless you're worried the landlord might enter when you're not home and get into your room?" Again, those are the words of Kaylee Gonsalves' father, Steve Gonsalves. Of course, Kaylee, one of the victims alleged to have been murdered. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation.
I got confused about that because Steve Gonsalves hasn't been doing interviews because he wasn't wanting to break the law. Apparently, he's buddies with Ashley Banfield now. So, you said, I don't think he said anything wrong. Well, he's not. The non-dissemination order says they're not allowed to comment on anything about the suspect. You said Steve isn't gagged. Well, if Steve wasn't under the non-dissemination order, or affectionately people like to call it the gag order, he wouldn't be having a court case on the 25th. The court case is literally the Gonsalves family against Bryan Kohberger for the non-dissemination order to be lifted against the family. So you guys are saying Steve's not under the gag order. That's debatable if he is or not, but they've been acting as if he is, so much so that they're going to court on May 25th to talk about it. So that's what literally all of the conversation has been about. Literally, all of the conversation for like the past month has been about if Steve Gonsalves is under the non-dissemination order I think many of you guys may have saw it, but there was a huge argument that broke loose between Attorney Gray and Judge Megan Marshall about the non-dissemination order, what's allowed and what's not allowed. And they ended up taking the court case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, no, this is a lower jurisdiction that needs to handle this. So the Gonsalves family has been acting as if they are under the gag order, the non-dissemination order. Sleuthy Goosey. She said it's that they want their lawyer to be able to speak. The judge clarified in her minutes in the hearing they had to clarify, and she said victims, families, and witnesses aren't bound by the gag order. Right. So that's what I've been trying to say. Like, because we saw Kara Kernodle, right? The part that's not confusing me is that it kind of feels like a gray area, Sleuthy Goosey, to me. But they've been acting as if they are under the gag order. I mean, we haven't seen any family member of the Gonsalves doing interviews since that non-dissemination order was released. So that's just threw me off because it's like, wait a second, we've been wanting to hear from them and we haven't. By the way, guys, we're up to 4 on our super sticker train today. It's moving the slowest our train has moved in a very, very long time. So if you guys want to help us out, hop aboard that super sticker train. That would be amazing. But our train is in slow motion right now.
Traffic stop and the search of the accused killer's apartment. We want to show you the body camera footage of WSU police officers searching Kohberger's campus apartment after the stabbings of 4 University of Idaho students. Now, that search happened in December of 2022, just about a month after the murders occurred. WSU also released some video of a traffic stop from a month before the murders. Take a listen to Bryan Kohberger's interaction with the officer.
Hello, I am Officer Langus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection.
I'm curious about this interaction here. We're going to watch a couple of different videos on it. But do you guys think that Bryan Kohberger act normally or unusually? And what I mean by unusually is, do you think Bryan Kohberger was trying to manipulate the police officer to get out of the ticket, or was he being disrespectful to her in any sense of the way, or do you think he was just acting normal? So I just did a poll in it, and you guys can answer that. I was thinking that his interactions were definitely more normal than I was expecting. Hey, Roseanne, thank you for hopping aboard that super sticker train. Renee, appreciate that. Amy Heights, thank you. Irene Cuboto, you said God bless you. Well, God bless you. Lily Black, thank you so much for that. Takes us to 9 guys on that super sticker train. We're headed for 17, which means we need 8 more to reach our goal. Thank you guys for hopping aboard and helping us out. It worked. He didn't get a ticket. I'm on the fence. I can see both sides personally. I haven't heard a persuasive argument one way or the other about his behavior that was helpful enough for me to make up my mind. I'd love to hear what Sleuthy Goosey has to say. I haven't gone over to her Twitter page to see. Maybe she's already commented on it, but I'd love to hear her thought as well. But I'm in a position personally where I haven't been convinced one way or the other, because if I was pressed, like if this was a debate, like you're in high school, you got to do a debate in speech class. Sometimes you don't get to pick which side of the argument that you're on. This is one of those cases where I could be handed either side of the argument and make a case for it. Like, no, he was totally normal. Here's why. No, he was totally manipulative, and here's why. I'm on the fence. I could do either side and I think win the debate. So I'm just hoping someone can give me a much better theory than I can give myself because I'm stuck in the middle. Candy. Candy Fruch. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Team building, lash slinging. You know what? I like LSU basketball team. Kim Mulkey is a very good coach. If you're talking about the LSU basketball team in your picture, I like LSU basketball, women's basketball. Naomi, thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate that. Yeah, they're amazing. Amazing.
Intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Hey, Robin, thank you. Lauren, thank you. Appreciate that. That takes us to 13. We're going to 17, so we need 4 more on our super sticker train. Yeah, I know. It'd be cool to have the behavior panel guys break it down. Or Dr. Field sometimes does that on his show.
Yeah, so if like, you know that way.
We just got this figured out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in their intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done be? Just
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting and then turns and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn.
You said, Mitchell, you said you think he sounds a little nervous. I was curious about that because we know that he had applied for a job opportunity with that police department, and he certainly is not wanting something like a traffic infraction to stand in the way of his opportunity there. So he might be feeling nervous about that. Hey, Candy, thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate that.
So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah. 1 second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd or 2022.
One of those essentially.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection to accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection. Yeah. So that's, if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
that basically, I understand.
You're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time. But
it never even occurred to me that was actually something wrong. But well, except for the fact that I was blocking the crosswalk, which is went through.
And states vary a lot from laws.
Let me know if you guys think he was nervous. Put a 1 in the chat if you think yes. Put a 2 in the chat if you think no. Hey, Jamie, Jesus is my savior. Flynn, good to see you. Thank you for that super sticker. Naomi, really appreciate that. We're just 1 away now from our super sticker goal. Karen's like, no ticket. You need to be quiet. Yeah, I assume he had lots of crosswalks at DeSales University.
I was like, Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area, so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh.
Unless I visit an area where there are crosswalks, and then it's not very frequent.
Yeah.
I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at all. Like, I understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like, I only know it because this is what I do. But yeah, if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Definitely. You too.
You guys don't, most of you, well, it's about split if you think he was nervous or not. I'm going to do just another quick poll on if you think he was nervous or not. I don't think he was nervous, personally. I think he had like a 0 on the nervous system scale. Hey, Candy, thank you for that super sticker. Whoop! That takes us to our goal of this hour on the super sticker train. Thank you. Let me see what you guys have put in the poll about being nervous or not. Yeah, most of you guys in the poll, it seems like, are coming across as nope, not nervous. 85% of you say no, he was not nervous.
Thanks.
Now, that traffic stop we just watched there was cited in a probable cause affidavit for Kohberger's arrest. And both of those videos were released after public records requests were made from various media outlets. Boy, he talked his way out of that ticket, didn't he? And he was very polite with the officer, wasn't he? Let's talk about this some more. Tweet us your thoughts right now. Let me bring in my guest, criminal defense attorney Joe Tamburino. Joe, what'd you think watching that, please?
Well, yes, he's intelligent. He obviously knows his way around police. He was very respectful. He was very deferential. He basically was like, look, I'm from out of town, and sure, give me a ticket, but I really want to know what I did wrong. I'd like to learn better for the future. I mean, this is going to be great evidence, I think, for the prosecution in his trial. Why? Because it gives them two things. One is He's not insane. This person is obviously functioning in society and is able to deal with police officers and other people. Second, it shows that he could be manipulative, that he could talk his way out of things. I would use this completely if I was the prosecutor in their case.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you, Joe. Let's look at it from the other side, because as you know, as the great trial attorney that you are, you know how to look at everything from both angles, or multiple angles, I should say. And for the defense, this could be helpful too, right? He is so polite. We're not seeing this raging maniac that the state of Idaho is saying committed these 4 homicides.
Do you guys think Bryan Kohberger was manipulative? I guess we're just going down the list of all the things he could possibly be. Because that commentator was like, he was so manipulative. Irene Cuboto, thank you so much for that super sticker. Appreciate that. Amy Heights, as always, appreciate that. Amazing job.
Yes, that's right. The defense is going to have to use it as, look at this person's character, look at his being. I mean, he's not a person that's just going to kill 4 people, brutally murder them. Sure, but remember, that's in almost every type of murder case. You know, we've seen it so many times where someone says, well, there's no motive, even though motive's not an element of a crime, because this person really had no axe to grind against the victim. Look at how this person was a month before. So yes, from the defense side, you're always going to raise that, but it's basically one of the arguments that they're going to use.
Right. Joe, I'm curious, you know, we talk a lot, you're one of my favorite guests, as you know, and with this case in this prelim that's coming up in June, I'm curious, do you think this is to Bryan Kohberger's advantage to have a preliminary hearing, or do you think it would be more advantageous for him to waive it, have his counsel and her investigators continue gathering evidence, and then fight it down the line?
That's a great question. Do you guys think it's to Bryan Kohberger's advantage that they're having a preliminary hearing? I haven't thought about it. I think instantly it is to his advantage. He's going to get to hear what the prosecution thinks, how they're going to present their case, and the way they're going to argue. It also gives them more of an opportunity to try to create the defense. They may try some things they'll be able to, you know, use in the court case. Candy Fruge coming in hot. Appreciate that, Naomi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amazing. You guys are awesome. Coming in again. Really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Edie Ruth say yes, 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 yes. When asked if he's manipulative, about 65% of you have said yes. If you guys haven't voted in that poll, please do me a favor. Go hit yes or no in that poll if you think he's manipulative. I'm genuinely curious on your response of whether or not you think he is manipulative or not. I'm genuinely curious over here. Curiosity. Curiosity.
With a high-profile case like this, they're going to have the preliminary hearing, and here's why. Whenever you have a case where there's so much on the line, like a case like this, you're going to utilize every tool that you have. And one of those tools is going to be challenging probable cause. You're going to try anything you can for your client because the stakes are so high. So yes, I don't think much is going to come out of the preliminary hearing, but of course you're going to do it anyway.
And do you think it's smart for the defense to do it so publicly? Because we know cameras will be there, court TV will be there, courties around the world are going to be watching this one. I might be the cheese that stands alone on this one, but I just keep thinking if I was repping him, I wouldn't have that hearing. I would keep real quiet because the gag orders are keeping everybody quiet anyways, and do all the investigatory work behind the scenes and then come out with everything that's favorable down the line at trial.
Well, I think I would partly agree with you that I think it's not going to be good for him to be on camera and have this preliminary hearing and to go through all of the evidence. However, I think from the defense side, when you're just trying to protect your client's rights, it's really hard to say we're just going to waive something. Sure, it does happen, but when you look back on the case, especially if he gets convicted of all of these, his appellate attorney is going to say, did you utilize every tool that you had in trying to defend this guy? So yes, the optics are going to be bad for him, but I don't see another alternative.
Some major breaking news in the Idaho murders, that quadruple Idaho murders involving the suspect in this, Bryan Kohberger. He's the man that's accused of murdering those 4 students in their off-campus home. Now tonight, for the first time, we're seeing never before seen body camera video from the search of Kohberger's apartment and audio from the judge who is authorizing a search warrant of a storage unit. We're going to play those out for you, and then we're going to be joined on the back end by legal analyst Nicole DeBoard. But we want to first show you this redacted body camera video from when Washington State University police first searched Kohberger's apartment in Pullman. Let's watch that now.
Go.
Police department search warrant. Come to the door. Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
Good. One more.
Police department search warrant. Come to the door.
Open the door and do an announcement.
Police department, show yourself. We have a search warrant for the building. Police department, show yourself. You're good, dude. Go back inside. Yep.
No lights. No lights. Flashlights? Flashlights.
If I hear the police yell, I just do not like it. Candy, appreciate that. Lauren Cove, thank you for that super sticker. Naomi, how are you doing? It's good to see you. Thanks for being on the stream. Hope you're having a great day. Candy. Appreciate that, Candy. Thank you so much.
Talbot, bedroom door is locked. He wants to boot it.
Yeah.
You're at 302. You can clear the air.
You need anything? Your clipboard?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
He's got it. Thank you, guys. Huh?
Just one locked door?
Yeah. And we didn't boot it because the keys actually worked. What?
Oh, sweet. Oh, even better.
It's locked because there's only one option.
Later today, we're gonna.
I'll talk later. Yeah. And I'm still.
Thanks, guys.
I'm still recording unless you don't want me to. I'm just gonna read the warning. Well, I'll go inside.
Yeah.
So you got Bryan.
they get paid and all the scope of it.
Do they want a copy of it?
That's a great question, Lawrence. Like, if we didn't know, like later on down, he was going to be accused of murder, what's your opinion of his demeanor during the traffic stop we just watched? I think that's a really, I don't know why I'm wearing my hood and my hat like that. Don't know what's getting into me over here. But anyways, you said, what's your opinion on the demeanor of the traffic stop we just watched? I would think, you know, I would say I don't have the ability to process the information that way. I really don't. That'd be my answer, because I do know it. I'm tainted already, and even if I try to remove it, I still can't. So I could still build a case either way. Totally normal behavior or no manipulative or something. So
Yep.
I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough, see what we can see. Are there lights on in there?
There are some, yeah. We can turn them all on. If you want a copy of the warrant, just so you can read it.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Hands in pockets, walk around.
Very sparse. Fancy computer.
Really?
Yes.
fancy computer. Really? Yes.
That I wasn't expecting. That's Mallory's going to be all over that.
Fancy.
So he was told he could do a triage here, and then once he's packed, he can't do anything until we get a warrant tonight.
Correct.
So he can triage it while we're still here.
Yeah. Yep. The technical specialist is authorized.
Fancy computer, really? Yes. Hey, by the way, guys, we're rolling into our second hour of the show. I just want to remind you that we are totally crowd-funded. And so I would appreciate if you're able to today to support us either through PayPal, which is Tyler Feller, Cash App, maybe the best way to give because there's no fees attached to it, $ Tyler Feller 22, or Venmo, which is at Tyler-Feller. You can also support through Super Sticker or Super Chat. And one of the things that we do in a creative way to try to get support on our channel is through what we call Super Sticker Train. Each hour we set a goal and we try to get there on the Super Sticker Train. It'd be amazing if we can get 17 of you guys on the train this hour. Candy, first on the train. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's a great question, Alicia. You said, is this after they entered the home? It looks like they're standing outside of it, doesn't it? So I think they entered, went in, got just a quick glimpse of what it was like, and then came back out because she said the lights are off. We can turn them back on. There's a fancy computer. So that's my guess. A lot of the footage is totally blacked out. So anything that involves them being inside of the apartment, it's just been redacted. Hey, Patty DeVilla, I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Appreciate that. By the way, guys, if you didn't have an opportunity to watch our Faith Friday service last night, it was amazing. And so I'd encourage you to go over to our live stream videos from last night. I did a video called This Will Change Your Life, learning how to hear God speak to us. And it was really impactful. A lot of people were really touched powerfully by it. And so if you're able to, I would encourage you to go check that out.
This is just video camera. We always do a walkthrough with video and then pictures. So whenever you want to go, so I'll just fall behind.
that back, or else I will steal it.
And I get to do it again.
Appreciate your help.
Anytime.
Monday at 3:32.
Okay. Sounds good. I unfortunately get to work whenever they tell me to work. Too bad the weather couldn't cooperate a little bit more.
Well, at least it's melting-ish. The drive up today was not fun. There may have been a lot of expletives said. Yeah. So they'll do the standard steps now. They'll come in, they'll do all the photographs, and then they'll set up the 3D scanner. So.
Okay.
I don't want to do anything for it.
I'm going to turn off my camera because at the university, please.
Okay, so you could see there, that was the first time that we've gotten a look inside of Kohberger's apartment, or of this video of authorities going there with this search warrant. The first time we're seeing this video that we are just now getting from Washington State Police. Now, we do want to bring in legal analyst Nicole DeBoard, who has joined us many times before to talk about this case. Nicole, you were watching this video with us. What were your initial thoughts?
Right now, all we're seeing is essentially the preparation for the execution of the warrant. The officers are obviously very mindful that they're constantly being recorded. They're making sure they have all their documents in order and that they are following the appropriate procedures. So far, I haven't seen anything that I think that the court will be concerned about in terms of upholding ultimately the execution of the warrant. But there's yet more to see.
Yeah, now, Nicole, what we want to do out next here is play out that audio of WSU Police Assistant Chief Don Daniels and Whitman County Superior Judge Gary Leiby. Assistant Chief Daniels reads over the search warrant before the judge authorizes it. Let's play that out now in full, and then we'll hear your reaction.
University Police Department, and this is Assistant Chief Don Daniels, and I do have a recorder going.
All right. Let's just state for the record, it is now 4:09 p.m. on December 30, 2022. This is Whitman County Superior Court Judge Gary Leiby on the record. Would you please identify yourselves, and I'll place you under oath if whoever's going to testify about this.
It's Assistant Chief Don Daniels with WSU Police Department.
Okay, would you please state and spell your name for the record?
It's Don, D-A-W-N, Daniels, D-A-N-I-E-L-S.
And officer, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the following testimony will be true?
Yes, I do.
All right, please proceed.
Okay. On 123022, while serving a search warrant, number SW12292022A for Steptoe Apartment G201, we found a padlock round in shape in the living room closet. Based on my training experience, I recognize the padlock to be the shape of locks typically used on storage units. The lock is round in shape, and the design limits the ability for somebody to cut the lock off. A key matching the lock was also found in the living room in the TV stand next to the keys, which appear to be for the Wilson Short office, which we also have a search warrant for. I had Officer Kirshner contact the apartment coordinator, who confirmed there are storage closets available to residents located in some of the buildings, they're located in the same buildings as the laundry areas. Sergeant Petlevny went to the area and confirmed there's a storage closet with the address G201 written in black marker on the wood door. The storage closet is located in building F, as in Frank, of Steptoe Apartments. The storage door is not locked and the door is slightly ajar. I believe the storage unit or closet was likely used by Kohberger to store the items and likely access between the time of the murders and his travel to Pennsylvania, where he was later arrested. It is also believed the storage closet could contain or contains certain trace evidence listed in number 1 and number 5 of evidence to be seized in the above named search warrant. I can read those to you. Number 1 is blood or other bodily fluid or human tissue or skin cells or items with blood or other bodily or human tissue or skin cells on the items. Number 5, trace evidence including DNA from blood or skin cells or other source footprints, fingerprints, hair, whether human or animal or dog. I asked the judge, do you find there to be probable cause to believe the items, do you find there's probable cause to believe these items may be found in the storage unit? And do you authorize the search of the unit?
Okay, thank you, officer. Okay, the court hereby finds there is probable cause to search the aforesaid described storage unit for items as referenced in the search warrant, and there's probable cause, and the court hereby authorizes you to sign my name, Gary J. Livey, on a search warrant to enter the afore-described storage facility.
Okay. I have signed your name, and it is
G-A-R-Y.
Yep.
J is in James, L-I-B-E-Y.
Correct.
All right. Is there anything else, officer?
Currently, that's all I have.
So they peeked in the storage shed. They thought that there was going to be some trace evidence of something. She swore to it. The judge agreed to it. So I think that that's interesting. Let me see where we at. Brooke says, God bless Tyler and everyone in the chat. God bless you, Brooke. Thank you for that, Mary Mom. Thank you for that super sticker. Jones says, I'm here now. Tyler has Christine's update. Maybe he'll inform you when he has time. She's made it through surgery. Possibly another miracle. Thank you for the prayers for my husband, Leo, and I. Guys, we've been praying for Jones' daughter, Christine, who was in a car accident on January 31st, broke 42 bones in her face. The doctor said that when they unhooked life support, she wasn't going to be breathing. Many of us, including myself, and on this channel started praying for her. They unhooked the life support. She started to breathe on her own. Then they said, well, she's just going to be a vegetable. We started praying. She's not a vegetable. She's able to walk and talk, recognize, have memories, and start to gain a lot of her function back. Well, that was January 31st. 3 months later, they find 2 infections growing on either side of her brain, and she had to have emergency surgery on Thursday. We were praying about it last night, Thursday, Wednesday. Jones sends me an update today. Says Christine was taken off of medically induced coma medicine and life support overnight. Another miracle. She is breathing on her own. Vitals are great, and she doesn't need life support. We still don't know if there's any additional damage, but she's awake, but tired, talking, has a lot of pain, but that's to be expected. Prayers work. God is great. We are praying very much in addition to praising and thanking God. She by no means is out of the woods, but progress is being made quicker than the brain surgeons can believe. Those are the kind of testimonies that I like to hear. She said, I'm so grateful for you. I'll keep you posted. Thanks again, Tyler. So praise God. If you guys will commit to continue to praying for Christine, would you tag Joan in the comment section just to let her know? Thank you, Joan, for the update. Karen, thank you for that super sticker. Really appreciate that. That takes us to 6 on our super sticker train. And we're going after 17, so we need 11 more.
All right. So then we will conclude this hearing. You may terminate the recording. Please maintain and keep the recording for reference for the Whitman County prosecutor and any other agencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, so you heard that conversation between the assistant chief of police and the judge. Let's bring Nicole back in here again. Nicole, hearing that audio and then also the video that we first showed viewers here as you watched alongside with us, I mean, those 2 items together, is this bombshell evidence at all?
I think it's very interesting because it gives us some insight into what we can expect this battle in court ultimately to be about. Likely the defense will be questioning the search warrant or challenging the search warrant, because if ultimately law enforcement wasn't allowed to be in the closet or in the rooms that they accessed where they found evidence, then that evidence could be determined not usable in a court of law. And I suspect what the defense will do is really closely analyze that affidavit or the swearing to of evidence that you just heard to determine whether or not it rises to the standard that the court should have had to find probable cause. One of the things that stuck out to me right away was we don't really have a lot of detail as to why law enforcement thought these items might be in that secondary room as opposed to in the apartment itself. So there may be a challenge that arises simply from that question being unanswered.
Yeah, Nicole, since you're bringing that up too, we're also getting a look at some of the evidence that was taken from Kohberger's apartment. I'm going to pull that up here now so everyone can see. Let's get that other graphic up if we can here. We'll get to the other one in a second. This one says new details in the Idaho student murders, and then it goes into this list of some of the things that were collected. So you can see a black glove, you can see the Walmart receipt there, other receipts, possible hair strands, as well as hair from the shower and the drain, different areas where they picked up hair. What do you make of some of this evidence that was collected?
Test to see if they can link things that are found in Kohberger's apartment or in his storage unit back to the apartment where, or the home where the murders took place. And if they can, that is going to be a very tough hurdle for the defense to overcome. So for example, you see this black glove. Does it have any biological material on it that might be attributable to the murder scene, for example? What could be in the dust container from the vacuum? There are marshal's receipts. What kinds of items were purchased at the store and are listed on those receipts, and when were those purchased? The list goes on and on. Each of these things has potential forensic or investigative value. And so the fact that the search warrant netted these items will mean that the search warrant is going to be closely scrutinized by the defense team.
Yeah, we do want to pull up this other list now as well that shows what tested positive for blood. 4 things here: reddish brown stain on an uncased pillow, brown irregular drip on mattress cover on bed, underside of rug under coffee table in living room, and a linear brownish red stain on the carpet in the living room under the rug. What exactly could this mean, Nicole?
Well, ultimately, if they know that it is blood, the next step will be to determine whether or not it is human blood. And if it is human blood, is it possible to obtain a DNA sampling from that blood? And of course, the next question is, whose DNA does the blood contain? And if it contains DNA that can again be attributable to people who were inside the home where the murders took place, this is going to be a very difficult hurdle yet again for the Kohberger team.
Yeah, so a lot of new information here as we continue to talk about this. Nicole, I do want to take a couple steps back here, though, because there's been a lot of recent news that has come out as of lately. Let's talk a little bit about this gag order. A coalition of 30 news organizations launched another effort this week to get a gag order lifted in the case. The coalition had asked the Idaho Supreme Court earlier this year to reject the gag order issued in the case against Kohberger. And then last week, the Idaho Supreme Court unanimously denied the request, saying that the news group should have first asked the lower court to have the order lifted. Can you explain all of this in simple terms for viewers to understand?
Sure. What the highest court has said is not that we are thinking that you're wrong to the news coalition, right? They have heard the complaint, but what they're saying is that we're not the right place to be complaining to at this point. If you have a complaint, take it back to the court that made the original decision, give that judge the opportunity to correct their decision or to clarify their ruling about what the gag order means. And if you still don't like the answer, then you can come back to us and we'll determine whether or not that court did their job correctly.
It's interesting. I think, is Megan Marshall the judge over that jurisdiction? And if case, is she not gonna, vote that her non-dissemination order is in the proper place and let us wind up where they were just at? Hey, Nancy, thank you for that super sticker. Really appreciate that. Wow, amazing blessing. That takes us to 7 this round on our super sticker train. We're working hard to get to 17, so we need 10 more. I wonder if there's 10 more of you guys that want to help us out. I believe in miracles. Me too. I big time believe in miracles. I mean, we're seeing it. The thing about Christine right now, that's one of the biggest amazing miracles any of us could have ever even imagined. It's that big of a deal. So I really appreciate it. By the way, if you guys send a gift over like on PayPal or Cash App or Venmo or something like that, be sure to let us know because sometimes I don't always see those. And I want to make sure that if you gave a gift that we're able to honor you. So, and just thank you for your support. Thank you, Amy Heights. Appreciate that.
Okay, so then there's supposed to be another court hearing on May 25th, about a month before the preliminary hearing in June. Can you talk about what we can expect from each of those?
I think that we're going to hear more of what we've been hearing. We're going to be hearing about different sort of loose ends being tied up, any evidence that needs to be produced that hasn't yet been produced, any settings for any future motions to suppress, for example. This is a date on which the court should be alerted to outstanding items that both sides want the court to address.
Okay, and then another major topic of conversation, Nicole, that we've also talked about too, is a surviving roommate in this. One of the two has agreed to interview with Kohberger's defense. With it believed that she may have allegedly seen or heard things that could help the defense in this. Can you explain this? And is she legally obligated to meet with them?
At this point, I don't think that she's legally obligated to meet with them. What could happen is that she could be forced by subpoena to actually come to court and testify. But instead, what it sounds like she's elected to do is let's skip that process of being dragged down to court sort of involuntarily when it's convenient for the court. Let's pick a time when it is convenient for all parties to meet with the defense team to find out whether or not you actually believe, after talking to me, that I have valuable information or exculpatory information, which is information that tends to assist the defense in some way.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So we do want to play out another video now. This is the last bit that we want to show people here. It's body camera footage of Bryan Kohberger getting pulled over by police. So this is a month prior to the murders happening at all. So let's play that portion out now.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Let me just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just going to get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck in the intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done? Just
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington. So just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation. And then then you're running a red light. So it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go. Because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking. So
yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh.
Did you see that?
No. Mm-mm.
I feel like right before I made the turn, there was someone who made a right. They didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I would just advise just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up. And not.
I don't know if there's a best thing to do in that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection. There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so you know, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines, like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah, I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you. Yeah. One second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd or 2022. Okay. And
yeah, one of those is actually.
Yeah. Okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just gonna go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you.
He gets pulled over a lot, you know? How many times have you been pulled over in the past 6 months? Would you put it in the chat? Actually, let's make it 3 months. How many times have you been pulled over in the last 3 months? Because I'm thinking Bryan Kohberger got pulled over once in Moscow. That's where they got his confirmation of his phone number. He got pulled over here. He got pulled over twice in Indiana. So in about 3 months, he got pulled over 4 times. I wonder how many other times he's been pulled over. That's a lot of times to getting pulled over. So I'm just wondering, most of you guys are saying 0. The last time I got pulled over was like 2017. And I was speeding in a construction zone. I was going the normal speed, and I didn't realize it was a construction zone. And I was in Indiana. So most of you guys are like, yo, I haven't been pulled over. 1992 for a ray of light.
And I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Sierra 331, code 4 driver. Go ahead. Last of Kohberger, King, Ocean, Henry, Boy, Edward, Robert, George, Edward, Robert. First of Bryan, Boy, Robert, Young, Adam, Nora. Middle C, Charles, language.
No need for us to watch all of that again. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Naomi, for hopping aboard that super sticker train that takes us to 10. We're going after 17. I wonder if there's 7 of you in the next 7 minutes that would come alongside and support us. I also want to shout out D Love of God sent a PayPal towards my mission trip. I'm going to Brazil. So thank you, D Love of God. Sleuthy Goose said, when I moved from Pennsylvania to Florida, honest to goodness, I was pulled over at least once a month the first 6 months. I do think, yeah, when you switch, that's a good point, right? Like when you switch locations, you do have tendency to get pulled over a little more. So that's where I was thinking, like when I was in Indiana, I was living in Illinois at the time, and I got pulled over in Indiana because you're just not used to all the different little nuances. Candy, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
But hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Definitely, you too.
Thanks.
Okay, so not the most exciting video there, but we do want to bring back in legal analyst Nicole DeBord, who's been joining us throughout all of these videos that, Nicole, you and I are also watching for the first time. What stood out to you most about this one in particular?
Well, really a couple of things. I mean, one, if I'm his defense team, I do not look forward to that individual testifying. He definitely thinks he's smarter than anyone he's talking to, which is a terribly risky situation for someone who is accused. He was also, in my opinion, just came across very, very odd. I mean, to suggest to the law enforcement officer, for example, that there are no crosswalks in Pennsylvania initially is just bizarre. And quite a lot of the dialogue that he's having with the officer is very, very off. So in my book, it doesn't tell us anything really legally about the murders or the allegation itself, but it does give us a peek into how he might do as an actual witness if he had to testify.
Yeah, exactly. And again, for viewers who are just now joining us, that video was actually when he was pulled over a month prior to the murders happening. Nicole, my first takeaway, I think, too, was also that he was just very interested in what the law was, like you said, asking the officer there and talking about the crosswalk situation in the rural area of Pennsylvania in which he's from. It's hard to pick apart. You kind of touched on it there. But again, just going back to his mannerisms, is there anything else that really caught your eye in that video?
Not so much, but I think you really make a great point, you know, one that I did not think of initially when we were watching it, which is that, right, this is a lot of deep diving into the law of whether or not you can block an intersection. You know, ultimately, this officer handles it perfectly, and she's very, very kind, and she ultimately decides not to give him a ticket, but the entire encounter is very strange. And I think, again, it is quite a good cue to the defense team as to whether or not they really want to advise this guy, and they can't decide for him, but advise him to testify. I think he's going to have a tough time if he does choose to do that.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, of the 3 videos that we just showed viewers tonight, do you think all 3 of those will be used as evidence? Are there any videos that you think either side would maybe not want to use?
I don't think the last one should be particularly relevant. It's hard to know without knowing what the rest of the scope of the evidence the prosecution has that they might offer in this trial. So it's possible, but I think unlikely that that last video would be something we would later see in trial. I think it's very possible that the defense team, for example, will want to use the videos that we saw of the preparation for an ultimate execution of the search warrant at Kohberger's house. And I think that could ultimately be relevant on deciding whether or not the search warrant was legitimate and whether or not officers should have had access to the materials and evidence they collected.
Yeah, Nicole, I think final question would be, obviously it's been quite some time. It's kind of been quiet, really, with the Kohberger case, the Idaho murders case that we've been following over the last several months as we prepare for him to be in court here in now just a few weeks. Why do you think it maybe took so long for us to finally see these videos here from Washington State Police?
I think one of the biggest things is that a case is pending. A lot of times we don't have access to everything that the prosecution has, and certainly wouldn't normally have really access to anything that the defense team has. In this case, obviously, there's a gag order as it relates to things that are public information for unrelated materials, such as body camera footage that departments might ordinarily release to the public. It can take a long time to dig through lots and lots of data to find what relevant data someone has requested. And in this case, that may be why.
All right. Well, thank you so much for helping us break all this down. There was a lot to unpack. Nicole DeBord, legal analyst, always doing a fantastic.
We do want to bring in criminal defense attorney Imran Ansari now. Imran, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Natasha.
And we know Kohberger has yet to enter a plea in this case. Is that unusual, given that he was arrested all the way back in December?
Well, we're waiting for that first hearing, which is going to be coming up very shortly. And at that time, we expect that Bryan Kohberger will be entering a plea of not guilty. It's typical, and we have no indication that Bryan Kohberger has any intent to plead guilty to any of these charges. Of course, his legal team before the gag order had questioned the evidence. Even his defense attorney in Pennsylvania, when he was picked up, made a very bold statement that Bryan Kohberger would fight the charges and somehow be shown to be not guilty. So we expect to see some movement at the next court date. In the interim, we have those pieces of information that we know about the forensics being found, that blood was found in his apartment, the DNA hits that led to the arrest of Bryan Kohberger. Ultimately, it's going to be on the prosecution to link those pieces together forensically. But we are all waiting to see what happens with Bryan Kohberger and how this case will progress.
And still any indication as to what specific evidence has the defense feeling so confident, at least as confident as they say in this moment?
Not yet. I think we are going to have to wait and see as that is given to the public. Of course, with the gag order, there may be limitations of what we learn ultimately as to the first salvo of evidence against Bryan Kohberger. Of course, there is a right to the public to have access to information from the courts and the right to a public trial. And we expect to hear some more information about the evidence. But we know that it's going to be a forensic case, a circumstantial case, if you will, where the prosecutor is going to have to link forensic.
He say forensic case and then circumstantial case at the exact same time. Candy says, thank you guys for the prayers. Praise God. Thank you guys for praying for her. Joan says, super train, clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Candy, Naomi, Mary, Darcy, appreciate your guys' support. I've lost track of where we're at on the super sticker train, but that's just what happens from time to time, guys. Appreciate your support if you want to continue to support us, or through Cash App, which is $Tyler22.
Evidence, including DNA, including certain other evidence, the video evidence of the car, and really point Bryan Kohberger as the suspect, as the defendant who was guilty for these crimes.
Let's talk about the gag order quickly. A group of media outlets, along with a family of one of the victims, want that gag order lifted. We know that there is a hearing on that later this month. What do you think the likelihood is that the judge will change their mind or budge?
So the judge has to take into consideration of what is going to be beneficial to the case and to the defendant himself and his rights to a fair trial. I mean, this case has gained so much publicity. Here we are talking about it right now, but it really has captured the attention of the public. Of course, the public has the right to know of what is happening in the courts in this country, but also the defendant has a right to the fair trial. So if his team is able to compel and make an argument that if there is a significant amount of public press going forward as evidence is discussed and revealed, he will not be able to get a fair trial, then the judge may keep that gag order in place. Of course, as a public wanting to know what is happening in this tragedy, we want to see the evidence, we want to hear the evidence, but the judge ultimately has it in their discretion to make sure that the trial is a fair one and it's being tried in the court of law rather than the court of public opinion.
And let's stay with us for a moment. There is another story that we would love your insight on. A 21-year-old suspect who's behind bars right now, accused in a string of stabbings that happened near UC Davis. This is Carlos Dominguez, a former student there. 3 of the stabbings happened over 5 days, leaving 2 people dead, a third person in critical condition. Police say that they found a large hunting knife on that suspect. They're trying to determine where it was the same knife used in the attack, rather whether it was. So Imran, safe to say the forensics are going to be crucial in this case.
Absolutely. The forensic, also eyewitnesses to any of events that may place this defendant. Of course, he's presumed innocent at this time under the law. But the forensic evidence, what they were able to find on his person. I understand that there was a knife that was found in his backpack that may match the mechanism of injury or death caused to one of the victims. So law enforcement are going to have to be taking that evidence, putting it together, giving it to the prosecutors who are ultimately going to be bringing these charges. And they're going to be able to link or have to link this individual to those crimes, of course, prove it beyond a reasonable doubt when they go to trial, if they go to trial. But ultimately, in this sort of fresh new stage with a arrest at this point, it's going to be important for law enforcement and prosecutors to get that evidence, to talk to potential witnesses and make their case.
Okay, Imran Ansari, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And
newsnation.com. Patty DeVilla, Candy, and Angel. Thank you guys for your support. I haven't heard Ashley Banfield's conjecture
just
on the ticket yet. She labeled it. Kohberger talks his way out of a traffic ticket. I haven't heard her theory, so we're gonna watch that.
Keep it back of your mind the attitude of Bryan Kohberger and what his colleague said last night, that he seemed to always want to be the smartest person in the room. As you listen to how this traffic stop went down, take a look.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
So
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
We just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in their intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done? Just
Oh, never mind. She doesn't even give any conjecture. She just plays the video.
Parents' weekend was the weekend.
Oh yeah, thank you, Cajun Tim. You said you sent a PayPal. Thank you, Cajun Tim, for your support.
Exactly 7 days prior to November 13th was Parents' Weekend, in the fall. And we had an amazing weekend together. And we drove out of town that Sunday morning. So it would have been November 6th. And we always left early on Sunday morning because we would have waited all afternoon to see the kids. And we literally high-fived each other that day. We literally congratulated each other. We were like, we've done it. We've done it. We have created, they're adulting. They're kind. We've done it. We can rest easy. And
Stacey and I were planning on taking a lot of trips and spending a lot of time on the road, and just in a week, it all changed.
We're learning new details about the night 4 college students were murdered near the University of Idaho campus. Officials spoke with the public for the first time, saying they think this attack was targeted. We're also learning more about one of those victims, Ethan Chapin.
We spent a lot of time together after the
2 months.
2 months together we spent.
We just walked it out, talked, told stories, cried. One day I was out walking by myself. I was crying so hard. It was just whatever. And I happened upon somebody, and I thought they were going to call 911 on me. But I'm just like, it's okay. I just having a moment. Going back to this weekend. Yeah, we went to the alumni offices, and there was a bunch of people there, and they honored us with honorary University of Idaho degrees. So it's cute. We're official Idaho alumni. The next milestone is going to be Mother's Day. Ugh. That's going to be a tough day.
Well, wish we could send them some of those flowers that we played at the beginning of the show. That would be super cool.
Ethan loved Morgan Wallen. And it was Mother's Day a year ago. And it was like the week before that Morgan Wallen leaked on his social media that he'd written a song for his mom for Mother's Day to be released on Mother's Day. And Ethan, as quickly as it ran on my social media, Ethan had sent that to me and was like, I am so excited for this song for Mother's Day. And I woke up Mother's Day morning and he'd sent me the whatever, the link to the whole song. Is the sweetest. It will now always forever be my most favorite song. But it was very cute. It's people like that that you wish you could be like, hey, Morgan Wallen, let me tell you how much you've touched our life by that. He was so excited to send me that song on that day.
We did
That's a really good song that Morgan Wallen wrote, by the way.
everything as a family. From the time we got up to the time we went to bed. You know? And I don't know, it's just all, you just got to spend time with your kids and love on them and do a lot of fun stuff, and because they grow up so fast.
But man, we're so blessed to have had that time. I can honestly say, I don't think we could spend more time with our kids and our family. And because of that, we don't have that regret. I mean, I don't think we missed a basketball game or a sporting event of our kids. And I can remember one weekend there was probably 18 sporting events between Maisie's club soccer and the two boys playing basketball. And we hit them all, or we would divide and conquer and then meet at the next one.
Right.
I wouldn't know what I know now and go and change the 20 years we had. And you never know when it's going to life is going to throw you a curveball. I mean, I think we got the worst curveball.
They seem like great people. Let's pray for them. Lord, I pray right now in the name of Jesus that Ethan's parents sense your closeness and nearness. It's what your word promises us, that you're close to the brokenhearted. Lord, I pray that there's a closeness of your presence, of your goodness, your mercy, and your love they feel. It's certain that the enemy has attacked their family. The enemy is the one who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. Thank you, Jesus, that you come to give life abundantly. And Lord, I pray you breathe purpose into this area that the devil has stolen from them. And they sense your nearness and your closeness in an amazing way today. We bless them in Jesus' name. Amen. Wow. That was just really, they seem like great people. It's pretty much all I have to say. They seem like amazing people. Well, guys, thanks for being on the stream today. I don't have much more to say. I'm still sorting through what I think happened in that law enforcement agents stop. I'm glad to be on the stream with you on this Saturday afternoon. Saturdays are usually a little more chill around these parts. So hopefully you've enjoyed just hanging out together. That's really what it's about. We're trying to build a community of contributors, not just content consumers. So thank you for those of you that contribute to what we do around here. Thank you for those that sent a super sticker or a super chat today. Appreciate that as well. And if you guys want to support the upcoming mission trip that I have, which is in September, but I gotta have the resources in before that, you can support through a variety of ways like PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, my website. So anyways, thanks guys for being on the stream. We'll see you soon.